Alright, gameplay engineer and Battlefield 5 Katana expert Niels Stillinga shared some very interesting details regarding the actual gameplay of Battlefield 2042. Let's see what he said. The first comment was in relation to the player movement in the game. Niels stated that the gameplay team are building on the work that they did for Battlefield 5 and that they will be keeping player feedback given on those mechanics in mind when adding and improving the feature set for 2042. I think in general, while personal preference will obviously come into this conversation, generally Battlefield 5's player movement is highly regarded by a lot of the core Battlefield community. Not only were the basics grounded and pretty fluid, it also introduced some very interesting changes like crouch sprinting, not to mention the combat roll when dropping from a high location, and of course the ledge grab, which opened up the game to so many more routes. I'm glad the gameplay team at DICE are using Battlefield 5 as the basis. I felt like it was a really solid movement system overall. If we're basing things on the gameplay trailer, 2042's movement definitely comes across a bit slower and maybe more sluggish, but of course it's all pre-alpha gameplay, so who knows what sort of shape the game is in now. The next comment from Niels was a brief reply in relation to the slide and jump spam in previous Battlefield games. He simply replied that both of these topics have been made aware to the team internally. Again, in a second reply, he comments that the team feels as though they were in a good spot with Battlefield 5 and will build upon that. I agree here too. I didn't tend to get stuck on half as many pebbles in Battlefield 5 as I did in previous games. Argonne Forest was always a tough one for me in Battlefield 1, getting caught on every bramble and pebble on the map. Like Niels says, it's about striking a balance between visual fidelity and smooth traversal. AD spam was something DICE addressed heavily in Battlefield 1, so I'm hoping 2042 will address players sliding around corners, mowing people down with hipfire. Let me know what you think of this down below in the comments. Maybe some of you actually want these faster paced movements left the way they are. I'd love to hear what our little community thinks, and who knows, maybe someone at DICE will catch this video and get some player feedback. The last thing I'd like to mention in today's video is to do with the new specialists coming with 2042. As a general evolution of the old class system, it has certainly gotten some eyebrows raised. I've covered it twice here on the channel, so definitely make sure to check out both of those videos if you're still a little bit unsure. What's cool is that it appears as though the community has put together 9 of the 10 specialists coming to the game at launch. Of course, we've got Boris, Maria, Webster, and Casper. They were detailed by EA directly, but by examining the gameplay trailer a little bit closely, an additional 5 specialists have been pointed out. Now, this is unconfirmed just yet, and EA will probably detail each specialist in the months leading up to the game's launch, but here's a rough idea. There's Delta, Sundance, and of course Webster McKay acting as the more assault-based specialists. There's just Boris for the engineer so far. The same goes for Maria Falk. Right now, she's the only support specialist we know of, and it's also pretty strange seeing the support icon combined with the classic medic icon. And then we have 3 recon-based specialists, Casper being one of them. On top of these 10 at launch, don't forget 4 more will be added with the battle pass before the end of the year, and judging from the gameplay trailer, the visual customization for each specialist seems pretty in-depth. So I'm not sure we should be worrying too much about having multiples of the same exact looking players running around on both teams. But anyway, thank you for watching. For more Battlefield 2042 content, tickle that subscribe button. I would really appreciate that. Until the next one though, I'll see you lads later.